What's up, Jabroni? Steven here, and welcome to the Smackdown live review reaction. Pretty much, it's the show where I sit down with you guys, we go over what happened on Smackdown, and if there's people in the chat room, we interact. I try to do these right after Smackdown around either 10:30 or 11 on Tuesdays. I also do one for Raw on Mondays after that. But we are going to get started with what happened on Smackdown this weekend. I'm actually still debating how I feel about SmackDown because SmackDown didn't really do a hell of a lot of stuff that, got me super excited about. So the show starts off with a no code open. That was weird. We usually get a code open with SmackDown. We did not get a code open this week. It started right into the intro song and the theme song and right into Daniel Bryan in the ring with his yes chants. And he was going to be having a women's forum where the women in the division were going to come out and have like their time on the mic and talk and do all this stuff. So what I wrote on my notes is that the women start the show, and it's good that they're getting a chance, but man, it does suck when they have to go off script and it looks super awkward and they don't get to go right off the dome. It felt very awkward. At least for me, as I was watching it, I was wanting to see them get out of this because the women, or really when you make people go off script, if they're not fantastic, it comes off as awkward and really scripted and really poorly done. So of course all the women are in the ring and turns into a scuffle between all of them, and of course another six-man tag match where it's going to be the heels versus the faces once again, and that is how the SmackDown started. Now, if I'm being honest with you guys, I've always had a problem when the heels are helping out other heels. I've always had a problem with that, and especially when one of the heels is Natalya and Carmella, who were both hating each other like literally less than a month ago. So I find that very weird and awkward when they're happy to work together, when it's not like reluctant, you know what I mean? Like when it's happy to work together. I find that very weird. All right, so the biggest thing that we got around here was we had a match. Let's get that down. Okay, so where we at? Right here. Bam. So the main thing that we had tonight was Apollo Crews versus The Miz with Dolph Ziggler at ringside. What I wrote here was Apollo Crews is just kind of there, dangling around. Makes me believe that he should have stayed in NXT. Bringing him up this early was a big mistake. He has no direction right now. He's just kind of there. He puts on pretty solid matches, but he has no charisma, no real mic skills, and he's just kind of there. And it explained why they didn't really build the fight between him and The Miz going into was it SummerSlam? When these guys fought, I think it was SummerSlam. They didn't build that, so it made sense. Let's see what we got here. The Miz ends up going over because he somehow gets. They end up getting into Apollo and The Miz end up going outside. Dolph Ziggler gets involved, and Dolph Ziggler gets slapped by The Miz. He gets up, and it was like a whole thing. And then what ended up happening was that The Miz pushes Apollo into Dolph, and he catches Apollo off guard and throws Apollo's head into the turnbuckle, and that is how he's able to get the victory because he rolls him inside, hits him with his finisher, which I can't remember what the name was. But that was essentially the end of the match. After that, Dolph Ziggler goes in the middle of the ring. The Miz leaves without his title, like he did last week. And this time Dolph is in the ring, and he's doing this whole thing about having The Miz come in there to get it. Which, my one problem with this feud right now is that it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel right because they didn't build it correctly. Like The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, it doesn't feel like a feud. They had one thing last week, and that was it. But it doesn't feel like a real built-up feud. We don't understand why Dolph is even going after this. Like, why is he fighting with The Miz for? Maurice ends up going to get the title, and then that's the end of that. There was a brief segment where they were talking about where we had Renee Young and AJ Styles in these Talking Smack set, and they were talking about the whole rope ball segment last week where Dean was messing with AJ on the rope while his testicles were in pain. And I just wrote here, seriously, the rope joke, like that rope ball joke, it's not corny, it's not funny. I mean, nothing as bad as what happened yesterday with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, but it's just not a funny joke. Um, Next we had Bray Wyatt. No, wait, wrong way. Next we had. Oh. Next we had Bray Wyatt. I don't have anything for Bray Wyatt. We had Bray Wyatt come out and cut a promo, or not come out. I think he was on the Titantron. Cut a promo about Randy Orton, do his thing, and I wrote here, continue to build Bray Wyatt because he has amazing mic work, but he will lose in the end to Randy Orton, making his whole thing about being a god and immortal pointless. The thing about The Undertaker is when he says stuff, he did stuff. Bray says stuff, does stuff, but Bray gets his ass kicked. Makes it pointless. All right, next. What I wrote in my notes here was why are there so many commercials for SmackDown? I wrote commercials are SmackDown's best friend. Reason being is that, no lie, it feels like there's like at least 40 minutes of commercials every single week. Like, I always feel like SmackDown has a ton of commercials, and it's just weird. Like, I don't get it. It feels like they're overstuffing every commercial that's on Raw, and they're putting it on SmackDown in a 2-hour show. All right, next I have we had the women's tag match. I don't know, man. I'm really lackluster like right now when it comes to the women. Like, I'm just not feeling it. Becky's awesome, Becky, but what she's doing here is just such a joke. Like, the way that they're wasting Becky is a joke. I like Alexa Bliss. They're wasting her. I like Naomi. She's not really doing much, but it was a 3-on-3 match. The match ends in a weird scuffle where everybody's beating up each other, and then Carmella gets Nikki Bella in a submission, which I'm not sure what they call it, but that's the end. Throughout the match, what I noticed was that Carmella, even when she's in this kind of environment in the ring, she shows no charisma. She doesn't really grab me, and that bothers me because like Carmella needs to do something to make me be like, oh my god, that like she's amazing. But instead, it's like Carmella's just there, getting like doing nothing, just coming up saying she's a heel, doing heelish things, but she's not. To me, I'm not gravitating towards her right now. So yeah, like this 6-women's match this at Backlash could be fun, but it could also be really bad. I'm pulling for Becky, but I'm not sure if that's who I'm gonna go with as my prediction. All right, next we got here. I wrote the crowd was dead during this match because throughout the night the crowd would show up and then leave like for certain segments, showing that there were certain things that they just did not care about. We next had the Usos versus American Alpha, and the Usos got no love when they came out, and they got into a when the match starts with them giving a handshake, and when American Alpha turns around, the Usos attack them. So the Usos have officially turned heel. That's what I wrote here. And what happens towards the end of the match, after American Alpha beats the Usos in less than 1 minute, the Usos turn heel, beat up American Alpha, beat up Chad Gable, and hurt his ankle, was what they said. I thought it was more like his knee, but they hurt his ankle. And later on in the night, we find out that American Alpha is out of the tournament because of Chad Gable's leg, and instead what we're gonna have is at Backlash the Hype Bros versus the Usos, and the winner of that goes against Rhyno and Heath Slater. Now, I said before that whoever beat Heath Slater and Rhyno was gonna get booed because the fans really are digging Heath Slater. I guess this is the way for them to figure out how to do Heath Slater's segment now, because now going into Backlash, I don't know if Heath Slater's going to win, because now the Usos are here, and maybe the Usos, since they are the heel team, maybe they will be the Hype Bros and be the ones to end up getting the belts. It sucks because American Alpha's not going to be at the pay-per-view. That's legitimate garbage right there. So that sucks. Let's see what else we got here. All right, we have Fandango coming back out doing his Fandango thing, his dancing thing. No sign of Tyler Breeze, so I'm not sure what they're doing with him. He's doing this whole dance segment, and out comes Kane to interrupt, and Kane decides to give a chokeslam to Fandango and then do a little dance. So yeah, that was there for some reason. What do we got here? What else have we? Kurt Hawkins will be showing up next week. That was officially announced this week. I'm actually looking forward to Kurt Hawkins, but I am worried because I don't know if what they're going to do with him is going to be what they did with Jinder Mahal. You know what I mean? Like, so I am a bit worried, but it could be a lot of fun and it could be awesome if they do it right. Then we had the Heath, Slater, and Rhyno versus the Hype Bros segment. The Heath, Slater, and Rhyno go over before the show started on the Facebook page. They had we got these Heath Slater's kids. He has 7 of them. They are 100% running this hillbilly country story gimmick with Heath Slater, which is what I was worried about because I think it's funny, but sometimes you have to tone it in a little bit. But they're going all out. They're doing the hillbilly story with him right now, and kind of like a white trash thing, which kind of sucks. But hey, that's what they're running with Heath Slater. They get the victory. They move on. They will be automatically in the finals, and the crowd will love it. The ending of the night was just saw Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles get each other's faces for about 5 to 10 minutes. I want to say like 5 to 6 more. And they get into a verbal sparring match back and forth. They're going back at one another, and in the end, AJ just low blows Dean Ambrose, and that is essentially how the night ended. Now, what I was saying before was that I don't know how to feel about SmackDown because really not much happened story-wise going forward. I'm not even sure what the Backlash fights are going to be. I can only think of maybe like 4 matches, so it's going to be interesting. Maybe they'll finally address the Baron Corbin-Kalisto situation. I don't know. So yeah, it was very short, nothing special. I mean, the biggest and best thing were the heel turn by the Usos. They did cut something really cool during the Talking Smack segment, which I caught, and I really dug it. They were kind of flustered and all over the place, saying American Alpha was in the wrong place at the wrong time. They just snapped. The Usos are done being like these people. They get booed and all this other stuff. So I was really digging it. So that's pretty much it. So if there's nobody in the chat room that wants to have a conversation and ask me anything, what I will do is get out of here and film my 10 things that we learned from the night. So if nobody in the chat room has anything they want to ask, I'll get out of here, but I'll wait a few minutes just in case anybody wants to ask me a few questions, and I'll answer them. Oh man, I wonder what I'm curious as to what the hell the Backlash's matches are going to be. Actually, is there a way to see Backlash's matches? Let me see. I'm just going to look at the Backlash, what they have for Backlash so far, while I wait to see if anybody is going to ask me anything in the chat. Backlash, let's see. Backlash. Bam. Alright, Backlash. If you are joining me, I am on here right now. I've gone through the entire show. If you guys have any questions you want to ask me or anything you're curious about, let me know. Ask me anything and I will see if I can answer or give you guys my thoughts on something. Let's see what the match lineup is for Backlash right now while we wait. Currently we have 5 matches. 6 matches because the Hype Bros Usos won, then the winner that's this. The 6-pack challenge, the championship match, Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, and the intercontinental match. If we think about it, let's see what we can actually add to this. We can add Baron Corbin and Kalisto. What else can we add to this? I'm not even sure if there's anything else we could add to this. From the look of it, probably maybe Fandango versus Kane or something with Kane, I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing, so. But alright, so nobody's really in the mood to talk tonight, and that's cool. But I'm just going to get out of here and film the other video I'm going to film, and I'll talk to you guys next week, I guess, or whenever you guys... Actually, I'll be live on Thursday or Friday talking about not Battlegrounds, but breaking news stuff, so I'll be on for that. But pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, make sure you guys comment below with your thoughts, and as always, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.